With Mr. 104's recent appearance on Doom Patrol, I thought I should make a video about his history in comics, which actually includes multiple name changes. This is because of real-world discoveries with him actually debuting as Mr. 103. Then he goes to Mr. 104, and he also had been as Atomic Man and Atomic Master. I'm not totally sure why those names were randomly thrown in there at random times. Most likely because they didn't want to keep renaming the guy, but it just kind of came out of nowhere because they didn't actually explain why he's now Atomic Man or Atomic Master. Mr. 103 or John Dubronvy debuted in comics under the alias 103 that in Doom Patrol issue 98 from 1965, which is peak Silver Age, by the way, which if you didn't know is when a lot of silly stuff is going on. And he is definitely one of that, because his abilities are extremely powerful. He can manipulate the entire periodic table, which sounds really, really dangerous. However, like I said, it's the Silver Age, which means instead of being a real threat, he's just a mustache twirling bad guy who doesn't really do anything except for maybe use his powers one or two times an issue. John was a married man who was a molecular engineer and would just randomly decide, hey, you know what, I want to be a villain because my coworkers are low-key rude, which is a reasoning if I ever heard one, and then just gets into an accident and gets powers. Being given the powers of the 103 known periodic elements, as we only knew of 103 at the time. But there's a little problem with that. You see, in the real world, yes, there was only 103, but not in the DC universe, with it having been said by Lex Luthor that he invented another element in the early 60s. Meanwhile, Golden Age Wonder Woman comics mentioned having some sort of arc about elements and that there was a new one about aliens. Meaning there shouldn't be only 103, but there should be 105. He would continue to pop up again in a very different look, more similar to that of a monster, but was really just a monster villain who did absolutely nothing with his powers, because why would he? However, he would meet supposed end his first death, yes, his first death, he died more than once, when he tries to get one over on Beast Boy and Robot Man. But that doesn't go well, and it ends with him just straight up dying. But he did return as some gas vapor that he shifted into before death, but he still did technically die, but didn't die. It was weird. But the important thing is he's alive, and renamed himself Mr. 104. After that, he would try to take on Superman and actually use kryptonite on him, finally actually using his powers. But then Power Girl swoops in and just kicks his butt. 104 meets end again when he's brought in on the Suicide Squad, this time sporting a more human-like form. When he and his teammate Psy, most known for the Supergirl show, will be gunned down by Rocket Red during his very first mission to Russia. The Thinker and Weasel also died in this exact same story, this being in 1988. However, we revealed and or retconned that 104 actually survived. Yes, that happened again too. And guess what? By the exact same means, saying that he apparently turned to vapor again and just left Russia. And just randomly decided, years later, to get his revenge on Beast Boy and by proxy the Titans, but of course lost, because he doesn't know how to use his powers. You know, except for when it comes down to retconning his own death. He would also be present in Joker's Last Laugh from 2003 as one of the villains of Supermax that Joker infects. And that's it for him. That was all before Flashpoint, therefore he might no longer exist, which I think I'm okay with. Because, generally speaking, his character really is just, hi, I'm alive, oh no, I'm dead, now I'm alive again because I turned to vapor. And then just on loop. Because it keeps on happening. His monster form did appear in a cameo on Batman the Brave and the Bold for a single shot. This is because this is the episode about Doom Patrol and it's showing all their past covers and villains. While Doom Patrol Season 4 debuted a more serious yet fun 104, who I personally thought was turned into a very interesting character, and while this story has just started, I for one am excited. As unlike the comic book version, he actually uses his powers, and unlike the comic book version, also has a reason why he might not. And that is, he's not a straight up villain, but more misguided or misunderstood. But in comics, 104 is just really repetitive, and for a guy with such powers, he never uses them. Like, ever. Except for when he's retconning his own death. It's like he's overpowered, yet doesn't even know it himself. Or maybe he does and is just humble. But seeing the fact he held his hate for Beast Boy for decades, I doubt that. Anyways, that's it. Also, I want to mention I do like his costume. I know it's silly, but I honestly think it's his best trait. I actually really like his costume. Anyways, that's it. Like always, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.